good day, everyone. Today we pause to honor the heroism of Glen Rock native Martin Bixler on National Vietnam War Veterans Day. York County's military veterans form the fabric of our communities. Our tribute and dedication today is led by Glen Rock Borough President and Air Force veteran Doug Young.
Good afternoon, distinguished visitors, veterans, Glen Rock residents, family and friends of Martin Bixler. Welcome to today's event. My name is Doug Young. I am the Glen Rock Borough Council President, and on behalf of the Council, I would like to welcome everybody to this dedication ceremony today. We are very honored to have with us today State Senator Kristen Phillips Hill from the 28th District, State Representative Kate Klunk from the 169th Legislative District, York County Commissioners Susan Burns, Commissioner Doug Hoke, Commissioner Chris Riley. We have representatives from the Office of U.S. Representative Lloyd Smucker, State Representative Stan Saylor, and we're also honored to have with us Brigadier General Mark McCormick, Assistant Division Commander, Support, 28th Infantry Division, Pennsylvania Army National Guard. We are thrilled to have with us today at this event the aunt of Martin Bixler, Louise Bixler Broadbeck, and also the sister of Martin Bixler, Donna Bixler Russell. Today's an important day for this country as we commemorate National Vietnam War Veterans Day. More than 58,000 service members lost their lives in Vietnam. Today is a time for everyone to remember the great sacrifices that so many made and to thank all Vietnam veterans and their families for their sacrifices that were made for our nation. To all the Vietnam veterans here today, welcome home and thank you. Glen Rock may be a small town of 2,000 or so people, but we're also very proud of our veterans. You can see that around town in many of the service flags flying in honor of our veterans from the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, Marines, and Coast Guard. We also have a Veterans Memorial Park almost directly across the street. Although it's a work in progress, it is nonetheless represents our commitment to honor our military veteran heroes. And then this new beautiful bridge is a very important part of our community. It gets a lot of use. Thousands of people pass over this bridge each month, and thousands of people pass by on the rail trail right here as well. It's a great location for this memorial. Today's an important day for Glen Rock because we gather here to pay a special tribute on this special day to United States Army Warrant Officer Martin Bixler. Martin Bixler was born in Glen Rock on August 10th, 1947, and he is one of Glen Rock's own who paid the ultimate sacrifice in defense of this great nation. It's important and fitting that we show our respect and thanks for his sacrifice such that we can continue to live in freedom. Thank you all for coming out for this special event today.
Thank you, Veteran Young. York County is blessed with a great team of representatives who elevate the veteran voice in our General Assembly. It's my pleasure to introduce a strong veterans advocate representing the 169th Pennsylvania House District, Representative Kate Klunk.
Thanks, Terry. Thank you, Terry, and thank you to each and every one of you for joining us today as we pay tribute to Glen Rock's native son, U.S. Army Warrant Officer Martin E. Bixler. Thank you so much to the family for for joining us here today. I had a moment before today's ceremony to talk with Martin's sister, and the last memory that she has of Martin is a moment where she was visiting with her brother along with her daughter, and her daughter was sitting on Martin's lap. What a beautiful family picture. I hope that leaves all of you with a fitting picture of what family means here in Glen Rock and the support system that Martin had as he was sent off to war. The men and women who served in Vietnam, they unfortunately, when they came back, they did not receive the pomp and circumstance that many of our veterans and my friends receive today when they come home from Iraq and Afghanistan. And one special volunteer comes to mind who put this ceremony together today, who decided that we needed to elevate our Vietnam War veterans, to honor and to reflect on their service and sacrifice. And this day, this National Vietnam War Veterans Day, would not be possible, and this dedication here today would not be possible without Harold Redding, who you will hear from later today. I truly want to thank Harold for advocating for this day with Senator Toomey, for President Trump for signing this day to be a national day across America where we thank our Vietnam War veterans. And I want to thank him for really, truly looking into the history of Vietnam veterans here in York County, finding Martin and finding his story so that we can share it here today with you all and forevermore as we dedicate this bridge. Every single person who walks this rail trail or comes across this bridge will see Martin's name and appreciate his service and his sacrifice. Later you will hear from Dale Curie. He has joined us here from Texas. I can't wait to hear his words because he will share some stories about what Martin was like to serve with and the gentlemen who he served with and how they went off on that faithful day to serve each and every one of you. Today, as we honor our brave veterans who fought during the Vietnam War, I just want to say thank you. And thank you especially to Chief Warrant Officer Martin Bixler. When those gentlemen went off to war, our country was divided, and when they came home, our country was divided. But today, as a community, we come together. Our nation now comes together to honor Martin and all of those Vietnam War veterans. And coming together today, we honor that service and sacrifice and all of the freedoms that Martin stood up for and the reason why he went to Vietnam to fight. Joining us today are people who really truly represent all of those values and freedoms that Martin fought for. We have representatives from local and state government and veterans. We have students, we have the media, we have the clergy here too, and each and every one of you represents a freedom that we hold dear. The clergy has the right to freely practice the religion of his or her choice. The media, you have the freedom of the press. And we as elected officials and our veterans, we are sworn to uphold and defend that Constitution, that document that lists our freedoms and our rights. You, the public here today, you represent all of those freedoms. And as Thomas Jefferson once wrote, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. These freedoms have been fought and paid for with blood and the lives of our precious sons and daughters, including Martin Bixler. Today, as we honor him, we must also remember what he fought truly to defend, each and every one of you. Martin and others fought so that we may not know war, that we may rather enjoy life, liberty, and that pursuit of happiness here in this grateful nation that we all love, America. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kate. Thank you, Representative Klunk. If you are able, please rise for the presentation of the colors in our national anthem, being performed by United States Navy veteran singer-songwriter Dave Bray, USA, and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Honor Guard, present the colors.
Honor Guard, airing, colors. Up, forward, up, right wheel, up. Honor Guard, up. Read and colors.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Airing, colors. Up. Post the colors. Honor March. March. Honor Guard. Up. Post. Freeze and arm.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order. Arm. Up. Post. Up. Haste. Forward. March.
Please be seated. Glen Rock Mayor, veteran, and chaplain John Trout will lead us in prayer today.
Let us pray. Eternal God, your love and care has touched each one of us. We gather here today seeking your presence and your blessing. Open to each one of us the deeper meanings of this moment, which honors one who answered our nation's call to duty in support of the Vietnam War. We dedicate this bridge in honor and in memory of Warrant Officer Martin Edward Bixler, who gave his life valiantly, courageously, and selflessly to save another. We ask your blessing upon each one gathered here. May this dedication serve as a time of healing. We give you our thanks for our great nation and commonwealth and the freedom that too many take for granted. Watch over all our veterans of the United States in recognition of their loyal service to our nation. Bless them with wholeness and love. Shelter them, comfort them, particularly on this National Vietnam War Veterans Day. You have given us brave and loyal men and women who have steadfastly served in their chosen branch of our military. May their dedication be honored, be remembered as a blessing from one generation to another. Challenge us now by our actions this day that we may always be reminded of your love and care for all of your creation, committing ourselves in the causes of justice, peace, equality, and human dignity. Amen.
Our thanks to the Combat Aviation Brigade from the 28th Infantry Division for the timely flyover. At this time, I'd like to call forward the unveiling parties so we can unveil the signs. Sister Donald Russell, Aunt Louise Brodbeck, Cousin Joyce McCall, and Cousin Phyllis Gipe. Senator Phillips Kristen Hill, Senator Kristen Phillips Hill, Representative Klunk, President Commissioner Burns, Doug Young, Dale Curry, John Trout, attention to orders. You can unveil. Attention to orders. The President of the United States of America, authorized by Act of Congress July 9, 1918, takes pride in presenting the Silver Star posthumously to Warrant Officer Martin E. Bixler, United States Army, for gallantry in action in connection with military operations involving the conflict with an armed hostile force while serving with the 117th Assault Helicopter Company, 214th Aviation Battalion, 1st Aviation Brigade, in the Republic of Vietnam on 3 October 1968. Warrant Officer Bixler distinguished himself by exceptionally valorous actions while piloting a UH-1H helicopter on an urgent resupply mission northwest of Tai Ninh. Due to the thick jungle growth, the desperately needed ammunition had to be thrown out of the aircraft while it hovered over a bomb crater. The aircraft was hit by enemy fire, crashed and burst into flames, pinning the aircraft commander underneath the wreckage. Upon freeing himself, Warrant Officer Bixler attempted to dislodge the aircraft commander despite the intense enemy fire. He gradually freed the aircraft commander from the burning ship, but was fatally wounded minutes later. Through his exceptional courage and devotion to duty, he saved the life of his aircraft commander. His actions were in keeping with the highest traditions of the military service and reflect great credit upon himself, his unit, and the United States Army. Directed by General Order, Headquarters 1st Aviation Brigade, November 8, 1968. Please be seated. Our first guest speaker is Vietnam War veteran Harold Redding. As mentioned, due to his efforts with Senator Pat Toomey, the National Vietnam War Recognition Act was signed into law just 2 years ago yesterday. Today, Harold remains deeply involved in local memorization efforts with our state legislatures. Veteran Redding.
Thank you, Director General. National Vietnam War Veterans Day was established to recognize the men and women who, when called upon, did not hesitate to serve their country during the Vietnam War. It is not a day to commemorate the Vietnam War. There is nothing that will be done today that is more important than the dedication of this bridge in recognition and in honor of Warrant Officer Martin E. Bixler. Warrant Officer Bixler was one of many that believed that serving in the United States military was more important than anything else that he wanted to do at that time of his life. He enlisted in the United States Army and became a United States Army helicopter pilot. Fresh out of Army flight training program, he was sent to Vietnam. His tour of duty began on June 26, 1968. During the Vietnam War, helicopter pilots and their crews transported troops and provided resupply. In fulfilling their mission, they became the perfect target for enemy forces. Warrant Officer Bixler became a casualty of the Vietnam War on October 3, 1968. No one knows or can say with any certainty how they will act when faced with a dangerous situation. We all like to believe that we will act with honor and courage. We do not know what Warrant Officer Bixler thought or felt during those moments leading to his death. We do know how he reacted to the danger that he faced that day. He received the Silver Star for his actions on October 3, 1968. The Silver Star is awarded for a singular act of bravery over a period such as 1 or 2 days of battle. It is the third highest honor awarded to military personnel for valor. It is representative of a soldier's willingness to place their life in danger beyond that which would be normally expected in the performance of one's duty. It reflects the individual's selfless service to both their country and the people they serve beside. In a moment, you will hear from someone who served with Warrant Officer Bixler during his time in Vietnam. Dale Curry was a helicopter crew chief in Vietnam, serving with Warrant Officer Bixler during the 3 months before he was killed. Mr. Curry represents that special bond that exists between all Vietnam veterans. He has traveled all the way from Texas to be here for this bridge dedication. I present to you Vietnam War veteran, Crew Chief Dale Curry.
Thank everybody for coming today. It's a very special day for me. Mr. Bixler was very special to me. We had our, like Harold said, we had our own bond. Everybody over there pretty much did. And I was glad to be with him when I could for the 3 months that I saw him. We were with the 117th Assault Helicopter Company, and we flew support for Green Beret Recon Team, and we flew up. We were in Tay Ninh City, and we flew north of there into close to Cambodia, And every mission you go on, you just never know what's going on. But the training we had prepared us for it as much as it could be. And we just did what we had to do when we had to do it. And I volunteered to fly on that helicopter for the door gunner and the crew chief both that day. And a lot of times I wish it had been me instead of them. And I think about those guys all the time. They're in my heart, and they always will be. When I first met Mr. Bixler, he was a kind gentleman. He was the only one over there that I know of that was shorter than me. Not much, but he was a little bit shorter. And he had a very good sense of humor, and he'd do anything for you. And I hate losing him. It was very hard, and I know it is for his family. And I can tell a lot about him through your town, through the people I've met in this town. It's a very nice town, and the city it's totally different from Texas. We wear cowboy hats and pistols on our side and stuff, cowboy boots, ride horses, but it's very, very quaint and very nice. And I guess that's about all I've got to say right now. I mean, I wish I could have known him longer. Thank you very much. Thank everybody for coming, and everybody that had anything to do with this program, especially Harold. He's the one that got a hold of me, and hadn't been for him, I wouldn't have been here. I wouldn't have known about it. So thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Veteran Curry. Welcome to Central Pennsylvania. Thank you, Veteran Redding. Our next speaker represents York County in Senate District 28. Elected in November 2018 after serving 2 terms in the House of Representatives, Senator Kristen Phillips Hill recently solicited co-sponsorship to introduce legislation to create special days of observance in Pennsylvania to recognize the bravery, sacrifices, and contributions of our United States military and allies who served in the First Gulf War, the Second Gulf War, and the war in Afghanistan. It's a pleasure to introduce Senator Kristen Phillips Hill.
It's a really tough act to follow, Mr. Kerry. We're so glad that you came from Texas, and we're grateful to the people of Texas for sending you to be a brother in arms with our Martin Bixler. Thank you, Martin Bixler. Martin, you did your duty above and beyond. Good afternoon, and thank you for the very kind invitation to join all of you on this very special occasion here in Glen Rock to honor one of our own. It is indeed a privilege to be here among the family, the friends, and neighbors of Martin Bixler, among our fellow citizens of Glen Rock and York County, and among the military comrades in arms of U.S. Army Warrant Officer Martin Bixler. Today, more than half a century after Warrant Officer Bixler so bravely risked and ultimately sacrificed his life to save a comrade, we are assembled in this place to recognize and honor his service and valor during the Vietnam War, to reaffirm our lasting gratitude to him for doing his duty above and beyond, to remember the sacrifices that he made, and to do our part to ensure that the noble legacy of one of our own is not forgotten. In 1967, Martin answered his nation's call to undertake the tough mission of fighting a war against a determined foreign enemy on hostile soil. As you heard earlier, after training and qualification as a helicopter pilot, he was later assigned to the 1st Aviation Brigade in the Republic of Vietnam, where he flew combat missions. And on October 3rd of 1968, Martin was piloting his helicopter on an urgent mission to resupply our troops. The helicopter was hit by enemy fire, crashed, and burst into flames. After he freed himself from the wreckage and under intense enemy fire, Martin rescued his aircraft commander, who was pinned beneath the burning ship. Martin was subsequently fatally wounded just minutes later. He was 21 years old. Through his exceptional courage and his devotion to duty, Martin saved the life of his aircraft commander, and our grateful nation awarded him posthumously the Silver Star Medal for gallantry in action against an enemy of the United States. Martin Bixler's selfless, heroic actions for his country and his brothers in arms reflected great credit upon himself. And importantly, they also reflect great credit on his family, his friends, his Glen Rock community and institutions, and all who helped Martin grow into the fine young man that he became. I thank each and every one of you who helped Martin along the way. And I must tell you, I wish that I had been able to know him personally. The naming of this bridge after Warrant Officer Martin Bixler is an altogether good, fitting, and well-deserved action. And I am so honored and grateful to be just a small part of this effort. And today, I am very proud to present Martin's family with a citation from the Senate of Pennsylvania in deep and profound gratitude for his service and his ultimate sacrifice. This citation reflects everything that has been said here today, that we are incredibly proud of our native son, and we are so proud to be able to remember him and his family and his service and his sacrifice. And we want to thank all of you today for standing here with us. And God bless all of our men and women who continue to answer our nation's call, defending our great nation, what it stands for, and each and every one of us. God bless them, God bless our Commonwealth, and God bless the great United States of America. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. This is great.
Thank you, Senator. Glen Rock Mayor and veteran John Trout will lead us in a benediction.
It is a gift that we may serve God and one another. Let us now go forth, accepting the challenges to which we have been called. Be of good courage. Hold fast to that which is good. Render to no one evil for evil. Support the weak. Help the afflicted. Honor all people. Rejoicing in the blessings of God, our Creator, Redeemer, and Comforter. May God bless you and keep you. May God's face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May God look upon you with kindness and give you peace, today and always. Amen.
Thank you, Veteran Trout. Following closure of our ceremony here with the retiring of the colors, all are invited to American Legion Post 403 for refreshments. Additionally, Vietnam Veterans of America celebrate and commemorate National Vietnam Veterans Day tonight at Horticulture Hall at the York Expo Center. All are cordially invited to that commemoration. Please stand and render honors during retirement of the colors and remain standing for the singing of God Bless America by Navy veteran Dave Bray, USA. Color Guard, retrieve the colors.
Color guard. Eric. Color. Oh. Eat, colors. Post. Freeze and arms. Order. Arms. Cut. Post. Countermarch. March. Hold on. Halt. Freeze and hold.
Rifle squad, fire 3 volleys.
Rifle squad, heads hood, port arms, right pace, ready, fire, ready, fire, ready, fire, left pace, order arms, parade rest.
Retire the colors.
Order. Halt. Cut. Hold on. Right, left. Hey.
We get a round of applause for the color guard and our ceremonial volley back there. I know everybody's tired and wet, but we're gonna sing one for Warrant Officer Bixler. It's God Bless America. I say we sing it all together. Here we go. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Thank you very much, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our ceremony. Thank you for your attendance, and we'll see you at the American Legion Post 403.